Christopher Schindler has a chance to write his name in Huddersfield Town legend. And he takes that chance!
So hi Sean, thanks for joining me today. So where does the time go? So it's been 6 years since you were first with us at my house behind us here, for your first interview with us, and 5 years since we said goodbye on a live episode with Cozzy and Neil. Since then, you've stayed in sport. The ball got a little smaller, a little redder, and for those that don't follow cricket closely, you had a pretty good time of things as Leicestershire CEO, didn't you? You've navigated through COVID. The club won the first trophy for 14 years, I think. And you had some really good young players come through, didn't you? Like Rayan Ahmed and Josh Hull and whatnot. It looked like a really good sort of fun 5 years that you had there.
Yeah, first Matt, it's great to be back. A little bit older, a little bit grey, a little bit heavier, but yeah, it's lovely to be lovely to be chatting to you again. Yeah, past 5 years have been fascinating, really. I as you sort of said there, I spent 5 years down at Leicestershire County Cricket Club, and but I always lived in Yorkshire. I used to effectively drive down on a Monday and come back on a Friday, but and the reason I went there is people that know me is I was born and bred in Leicester. My dad was a big cricket umpire. Leicestershire were in a bit of a mess, and got a long story short, they wanted me to become chief exec, and I always said to them, I'd do it, but I'd only do it for 5 years. I'd give you 5 years, and then I'm heading back to Yorkshire. So kind of stayed true to my word, and in that period, I wanted to win something. You know, I'm a competitive individual. Learnt a lot of good things whilst at Oldham Athletic and Huddersfield Town, of course, and just implemented those at Leicestershire, and that resulted, as you say, a couple of bits of silverware, and to win the One Day Cup, having the club having been the perennial bottom club for the best part 10, 15 years was a great achievement for us, and then I always have a phrase that winners win, but champions win again, and we had that culture at Leicestershire where winning the One Day Cup wasn't enough. We wanted to carry on and build and win something else, and we always sort of said that getting out of League Two, as I think we're the only club never to have done that, was a big task and a big ask of us, considering what's gone on in the past. So a lot of our focus was on that the past 2-3 years, building a team to actually compete and win, and when they crossed that line, believe in themselves, and I was absolutely delighted that we got promoted this year and won the championship, the Division 2 championship at a canter, really. We played extremely well, a combination of great players, good coaching structure, right ethos through the club, and all that hard 5 years graft has kind of paid off. So I'm delighted. But the key word for me, and it was always the same at Huddersfield Town, was culture. Creating the right kind of culture that meant every part of the business could thrive, prosper, develop. Of course, there's challenges and things that bumps in the road, if you like. But if you stick to your culture, stick to your guns, stick to what you believe in, create the right environment for people to thrive, then the magic happens, as we saw with Dean Hoyle and David Wagner, obviously. But good, tough 5 years. I'd say it's been hard graft, but when I reflect on it, I'm quite happy with how I've now left the club, and hopefully with the right people in place, it can kick on, and I'll be a distant memory, as I tend to be in these situations.
I don't know. I think you can walk away with your head held high there. I remember Leicester when I was a kid. I used to love cricket, probably more than I do now, because my dad used to. Same with you. My dad loved it, and we used to watch it together. I just remember Alan Mullally was a Leicestershire player, wasn't he, back then, with the left-arm fast bowler? That's the one I remember. But
Yeah,
um,
it was him and a lad called David Milnes.
yep, I remember that.
Alan's in Australia now, and David is an umpire. So still in the game is David, a top fella. But they were a dynamite strike force, and you mentioned there one of our players, Rayan Ahmed, who is an unbelievable talent. Disappointed England have not picked him for the Ashes, but his time will come. But there's a lad who's come through the ranks as well, called Josh Hull, who's 6'7", an absolute monster of a seamer, left arm seamer, and I think Josh will be an exciting player. I think he's 20 now, an exciting player for the future, and I think with one or two other kids that are coming through the ranks, they're certainly in a good places. Leicester. We've had some talent in the past, like David Gower and Stuart Broad, of course. So yeah, it's nice to have done my little bit to contribute for the future of the club as well.
And we'll move on to now, because after 5 years, after the 5 years you've at Leicester, it's 16 years since the first Pedal for Pounds, when everyone went down to Southend. There were many incarnations along the way. I think my favourite was the ride to the with Dean. I thought that was a great one. You've raised over 3 million, I think, for charities like the Yorkshire Air Ambulance and others, and you're now slipping back into the Lycra for one last ride, which is fantastic. So for us as a podcast, we went to the Terriers versus MND event at the stadium earlier this year, which See It Now Sports put on. We spoke to Marcus. We interviewed him as well for a Cult Heroes episode this summer, and he's a really special person, not just for Huddersfield fans, but he's basically one of the best Huddersfield Town players of the last 50 years. He's a phenomenal player, but he's not just a phenomenal player. He's such a great character as well, such a great person. And we had Phil Senior did it with us, the episode, and you could see the way that, and before we did it, Phil just used to say the way Marcus used to be with everyone and the kids around the place before they become pros. He was just brilliant with everybody and treated everybody with humour, respect, and just one of the great people. And it means a lot to fans of Huddersfield, Bristol Rovers, Sunderland, Ipswich, probably Yeovil, and even more. And he's unfortunately been diagnosed with MND, which is a condition which people will know because it damages the motor neurons in your brain and your spinal cord. And Lewis Moody's just announced that he's unfortunately got that as well. And people remember Doddy Weir, Rob Burrow too. Also amazing, great sporting ambassadors and stories that transcend out of sport and into sort of the just normal people, everyday people. It's a horrible disease, but at the same time, it's good to see people trying to combat that and make things better. Kevin Sinfield is another great human being who's done so much for it. And you're jumping on the bike as well, and you want to do your bit as well.
Yeah, it's absolutely right. Everything you said there, Matt, is spot on. I think when I joined Town all those years ago, everybody spoke about Marcus Stewart and being one of the greatest to wear the blue and white stripes. And what if the club hadn't sold him at that time? What could have happened? All those kind of stories. And I heard so many positive things about Marcus in my sort of 14, 15 years at the club. So it just feels right that we should be doing something. How it came about really was a friend of my, big Huddersfield Town fan, went to that dinner, and I was there about a year ago or 6 months ago, and I think he got in touch with me and said, Sean, I've been moved by what I've seen at this dinner at the stadium. Would you help me do something? And I said, yeah, of course. I'm heading back to Yorkshire at the end of this season with the cricket season. I'll happily do something. Anyway, we played golf, and we sort of said, what can we do? And the first thing that comes to mind is the the bike rides. And when I've been in Yorkshire and I've been out at a pub or having a bite to eat, you often get a town fan come up to you and say, "Oh, if you did another bike ride, I'd definitely do it. I'd get involved." And this is a nightmare for me. I'm not a cyclist or anything like that. It was old Dean Hoyle that made me get on a bike all those years ago, and I've not been on a bike for. As you can tell, I'm a little bit heavier than I was. I've not been on a bike for about 5-6 years as it is. So, but in all seriousness, we wanted to do something, and the bike ride felt right. And I've got together a group of town fans that have all come together and sort of said, "Yeah, let's do this." So I've gone, right, okay, well I'll get the sparks going and let's make it happen, and that's culminated now in obviously launching the website, announcing that we're going to do it. We've got the event on Thursday night. The Marcus is coming along, which is brilliant. We've had some lovely messages. Kevin Sinfield, who obviously knows Marcus from living in Oldham, and then Hef and Chris Schindler have all sent good luck messages. So it's all poised to be a successful event. And I'll tell you, giving a bit of an exclusive, I think we've got nearly 100 people who have signed up to sort of express interest. They'll find out on Thursday that they'll have to commit by a certain date. But to get 100 at this stage, I think is fantastic. And if we can get 150, 200, whatever, if it's 10 of us, so be it. We'll do what we do. So yeah, I'm really pleased of the interest that it's got. I'm happy that people are supporting it, and lots of people have come out and said, "I'll be part of the support team. I'll be part of the team that gives out teas and coffees along the way." So
Yeah.
I think what I've learned, I mean, I always knew this at Huddersfield Town, the people of this club will give back. When something not quite right happens or somebody needs support, what you see is a real groundswell of terrier spirit, however you want to phrase it. And once again, I've kind of seen it. And whilst I'm regretting saying I'm getting back on a bike, at the end of the day, this is for a very worthwhile cause, the Darby Rimmer Foundation and raising its profile. So, yeah, bring it on. We've got some hard work and training to do between now and next June, but bring it on. Let's try and raise as much as we can for this horrendous cause that's got a grip of Marcus.
Obviously, e-bikes as well are popular these days, Sean. So it all counts. Everything counts. How can people join then? How can people sign up? What's the best way for people to, if they want to get involved, how should they get about contacting and
yeah, as you said there, e-bikes, if they want to do it on an e-bike, get some sponsorship, absolutely fantastic. We've got a couple of lads that are going to be running it as well. David Elliott, he was a former sponsor, Wellhouse Leisure. He's going to be running it. I think Alan Boothroyd, one of Town's sort of legendary supporters, is going to be running it as well. So people want to walk it, entirely up to them. What we've done is we've launched a website called p4pmnd.co.uk. I'll repeat that again in a tick, but the basic details are on there. And what we're saying to people, if you want to be interested in getting involved, whether that's cycling, running it, whatever, then sign up, get your email address into that website. That's all being collated by one of our committee members, and then we'll issue some detail after Thursday when we've got the launch. So if people can come, thank you. If people can come along on Thursday, that'd be great. It's a very informal meeting. We're going to be chatting about what it entails, what the route looks like, and what we want from individuals. There are in the past, we've had groups of different colours that have got involved, and I've had lots of messages from silver, white, green, blue, that all are keen to do it in their own way. So I think what will happen is on Thursday night, we'll get a feel for where we're at. That'll be the first initial meeting. And then shortly after that, probably during November, with a deadline, probably the end of November, where people then have got to commit. And there'll be a small fee to pay that'll include a cycling top, and obviously pay for like the bits of food and things like that on the trip. So yeah, more details will become apparent. But at this stage, two things really. If they want to find out more, Pedal for Pounds MND, so P for P mnd.co.uk, running across the screen at the moment, is a good way to get your email in there, or come along on Thursday night. And even if you don't want to be involved, just come along and be part of it and hear what we got to say. What I did find, and this for me was something, a real plus of doing the bike rides. There were people who've never cycled before in their lives, and now are quite proficient cyclists, and their health and mental state has no doubt improved as a consequence of that. I'm not sure mine has, but and there are benefits to doing it. It's a challenge, but there are benefits. So I'd urge people, just come have a look, listen, and if they want to get involved, and we're going to try and raise as much as we can for this cause. That's
brilliant, Sean. And obviously, Killer, who is my right-hand man, is going to try and join you guys as well, and the podcast will be sponsoring Killer to go and do it, and hopefully he can maybe do some interviewing on the way around. Obviously not whilst he's cycling, because obviously there's a safety concern there. But hopefully he'll be able to join you as well, and we can raise some money to beat what's a horrible disease. So just to clarify, p4pmnd.co.uk. Just give it a look. You can even donate on there. You don't have to join. You can just donate. You can have a look. Just get involved. Just retweet it when you see it, just so someone else can see it. Any little thing helps whatsoever. Whether it's a retweet, a like, or whether it's you're making a donation or cycling yourself, everything helps. And obviously, everyone knows and loves Marcus Stewart, who's associated with Huddersfield Town and the Darby Rimmer Foundation, isn't it? Sorry. That's based mostly around Stephen Darby from Bradford City. So obviously, if you're a Bradford City fan, we have picked up a few stragglers from Bradford City who do listen to us on a weekly basis to listen to our misery at the minute. You guys are welcome to join. It all goes to the same place. Anyone is welcome. I'm sure Sean is welcome to join on that ride and to hopefully make that disease a distant memory in future, hopefully. Sean, great to see you again. Thank you very much for joining us, and I can't wait to see Killer in his Lycra cycling from Ipswich to Huddersfield.
Absolute pleasure. Lovely to chat, Matt.
Thanks, mate.
There's a team that is dear to its followers. The colours are bright blue and white. They're a team of renown, and they're the pride of the town, and the game of football is their delight. And all the while upon the field of play, thousands loudly cheer them on the way. Often you can hear them say, who can beat the town today? And then the bells will ring so merrily, and every goal shall be a memory. So town, play up and bring that cup back to Huddersfield. So town, play up and bring the cup back to Huddersfield.